The lines are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on today's conference call. We've got today with us, we've got Bellator President Scott Coker, light heavyweight champion Liam McGeary, and title challenger Phil Davis to discuss the upcoming fight, Bellator 163, taking place next Friday, November 4th at the Mohegan Sun. There's live and free on Spike at 9 Eastern and 8 Central. You won't want to miss the preliminary action for this event. It's going to be highlighted by the professional debuts of top prospects Ed Ruth and Tyro Fortune. That action can be caught on Bellator.com and the Bellator mobile app starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Today you'll be able to ask questions to the participants by dialing *1 on your keypad. Couple quick things worth mentioning. Limited tickets for Bellator 163 still remain, can be purchased at Bellator.com and Ticketmaster.com. Also, media and fans are invited to the Mohegan Sun Thursday, November 3rd for the live weigh-ins at 5 p.m. Eastern. These are free, open to the public. The weigh-ins will be immediately followed by Tito Ortiz, Chael Sonnen kickoff press conference. That event, Tito Ortiz and Chael Sonnen, Bellator 170, takes place January 21st at the Forum in LA, and tickets go on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster and Bellator.com. Again, press *1 on your keypads if you'd like to ask a question, and operator, you can take it from here.
If you'd like to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. That's star and the number 1. Our first question comes from the line of Steve Juan with MMAmania.com.
Thank you, operator. I have a couple questions for the champ and the challenger. I'd like to start with Liam McGeary. If he could tell us what his injury was like over the last year and how he's rehabbed from that to get ready for this fight, I'd be grateful.
My injury was annoying. It's kept me away from this sport for a long time, almost a year now. But now I'm looking forward to getting back into it.
All right. Specifically, though, knee, did you have it scoped? Did you have an ACL? Can you go into specifics?
It was my knee. Yeah, I just had to get a load of fixed up repairs. There was a load of damage done inside. So yeah, just had to get it fixed up. I couldn't really stand on it too well.
Well, now that it's all fully healed up, how are you looking forward to Phil Davis, knowing that he's been waiting a year for this chance?
I can't wait, man. I'll do mine for a year for it as well. So it's going to be good fun. It's going to be a good fight.
And to the challenger, Mr. Wonderful, I noticed that today Bellator is going really hard on a Vote for Phil Davis campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea behind that?
Yeah, we're promoting this fight, and we're also having a little fun with this crazy election that we have going on. And the fact that this fight's going to be equally as crazy, but equally as one-sided. So, it's just comedy all the way around, you got one character and then one, tough guy, sort of. Well, forget about the election. Just let's talk about the fight. You still got one character, and then you got one cool guy. It is what it is. And kudos for Bellator for recognizing that there could be so much comedy in the world out there.
Do you feel like this has been a year in the making, as I just said to Liam McGeary, or does it feel like it's 4 years in the making, going all the way back to when you fought Rashad for a title shot?
Yeah, you know what? This is very reminds me of that moment. I like the feeling of knowing that I'm in the semis or that I'm in the finals. That the pressure's on. That moment of do or die. I love that moment. I thrive in that moment, and I'm so glad to be back in that moment of do or die, all or nothing. And that's where I shine. That's where I do my best work.
We look forward to seeing that November 4th. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you both.
Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco with USA Today.
A question for Scott. There was a certain point in which this fight was rumored for the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and I'm wondering what happened with that.
We were trying to work out our schedule with TV and with the venue, and we just couldn't put it together. So we moved over to the Mohegan Sun, which I think is a great venue. It's been an amazing venue for Bellator fights, and we're gonna have a good time next Friday.
Now that it's legalized, you got 2 shows scheduled for the rest of the year. Do you guys have any concrete plans for getting into New York at this point?
Yeah, we're continuing to talk with them. I know we have a couple of dates on hold, but as far as the fight, we want to bring the right fight there, and I think that if we could have put it together, this fight would have been one of the big fights on the card. But we're gonna wait, and when we do it, we're gonna do it right. And there's no timetable whether it happens in the first quarter of next year or happens in the summertime. But when we come, Stephen, I assure you, we're gonna bring our guns when we come to New York.
Do you by chance have those dates handy?
No, I can't talk about the dates right now. But as soon as we know, we get a little closer, I'm sure that Danny will get the information to you guys.
Gotcha. And then a question for both Liam and Phil. You guys had a little bit of an interaction backstage after your last fight, Phil. I'm wondering how you interpreted that interaction. It seemed like Phil kind of made a joke at your expense, Liam, and you guys were laughing, but kind of that was, with a couple months between you and then, I'm kind of wondering how you interpreted that whole run-in.
You talking to me here?
You can start, Liam.
Okay. That whole interaction, laughing and joking around, all the fun and games are over now. I've had 3-4 months of getting ready for him. The torture I put myself through in this gym, I'm getting ready to take it out on him. You can make all the jokes and try and make it turn into a laugh. At the end of the day, man, we're fighting, and this is going to be a tough fight. All the pressures or whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going in there to hurt him.
Well, the fun and games are not over. The fun and games have just begun. And you've been training for 4 months for this fight. I've had over a full year I put into wearing your butt out and dragging your face across the mat.
It's easier to talk all that shot over the phone, man. Let's wait and see each other next week.
Well, we will see each other next week. And only one of us is going to have fun and games. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move to our next question.
Our next question comes from the line of Eric Tamiso with ESPN.
All right, guys, thank you for your time this afternoon. My first question is for Liam. Phil Davis has never been stopped in any of his pro fights. Why are you confident that you'd be the one to be able to not only defeat him, but stop him in this fight?
Never been finished. There'd never been an English champion before either. Tito had never been submitted before either. So there's always a chance that these nevers always get broken. And I'm going to be the man to do it.
And Phil, obviously, Liam's an undefeated champion. Why are you confident that you'll give him his first loss in his pro career?
I mean, it's just precious. His whole answer is just precious. He don't know no better. Okay, it's just a matter of how kids are when they say things, and it's cute because they don't realize they're not faster than a race car. Okay, listen. This is you're going up against a grown man. Okay, this is not a game. It's not a joke. You're in the big leagues now.
All right, and my next question is for Scott. I just wanted to have you talk about the decision to sign Tyrell Fortune and Ed Ruth without any prior MMA experience, and how you guys plan on promoting them after their debuts next week.
It goes back to our commitment to continue to build this roster and to find the next stars of our sport, and we've always felt that in the wrestling space there's been a lot of talent out there like the Ed Roos and the Fortunes and the Picos, and we made a conscious decision to go out and grab as many as we could, and and bring them into Bellator, have them start training in MMA, which the transition has for the guys that I've been keeping in touch with have been pretty good, and they're ready to go. And we signed Ed Ruth, I want to say 6-8 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, and we've been making sure he's in the right camp and has the right sparring partners, and we have high hopes for some of these kids. But at the end of the day, they're gonna have to go out there and they're gonna have to fight, and it's different than just wrestling. I mean, it's one of the disciplines that's important in mixed martial arts. But at the end of the day, someone's gonna be punching him and kicking him and kneeing him, and I'm sure they can deal with the takedowns, but somebody's gonna be submitting him. It's a much different game, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out. But we have high hopes for our wrestling prospects in Bellator.
And judging on how well they do next week, how far would you guys plan on pushing them towards the more experienced fighters on your roster?
I mean, to me, everybody's gonna be in an individual path. But let's say, for instance, if these guys do well and they win, and maybe we'll fight them in the next 2 or 3 months. And we don't want to wait 4, 5, 6 months for these guys to fight. They're young. They coming off some great Olympic experience, and these guys are world class athletes. And so to me, and when I say Olympic experience, I mean I saw Ed, wrestle in the Worlds, and then he went to the Olympic trials and all that. But it didn't work out for him. But he was at that elite level, and let him continue on. I mean, to me, it's they can go fight 2, 3 months apart, and then when they get about to 6, 7, 8 fights, they're gonna have to start fighting some of the tougher guys in our league. So it's gonna be fun times ahead for those guys.
All right, that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. That's star and the number 1. Our next question comes from the line of Sean Rossap with Fightful.com.
Question for Scott. You have a couple of big women's featherweight and heavyweight fights on this show as well. What are the immediate plans, if any, for the titles in those divisions, or will there be one? We had Julia Budd say that she's heard that a championship may be instituted for that division.
Yeah, you know what? We tried to put that Marvelous Conan fight with Julia Budd together a couple months ago, and then there was an injury. Didn't work out. Marvelous had a fight, and the girl she fought was a little bit heavy, and the fight happened anyway, so it was outside of the weight class. So Julia just fought. We're gonna let Marvelous fight, and then we're gonna come back and revisit that whole division. But that's pretty much what I have to say about that female division. But I will say this: when you look at this card from top to bottom, I mean, the main event is going to be amazing, and these guys, they have it all. These guys are the complete mixed martial artists of today. If you think about their striking ability, the ground game, the wrestling ability, and submission games, they have everything. But also, Paul Daly versus Derek Anderson, that's going to be another amazing fight. Brendan Ward versus Saad, and then Marlos, on the card in the debut of Sergey Karatanov. I mean, this is from top to bottom an amazing card, and we're proud to put it on, and we're going to have a lot of fun on Spike TV next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
How about the heavyweight division? Are there any plans with that title?
Yes, that's something that we're working on. Actually, we're pretty diligent about putting something together here, but we don't have anything to announce. But I can promise you something that in the first quarter of next year we're going to make some moves on that division.
And for Phil, would you have seen yourself coming to Bellator under their old regime, or was a lot of that dependent on Scott Coker?
A lot of that was dependent on Scott Coker. I know what he's capable of running, the type of business he's capable of running, how he's able to build fighters, how he's able to build a promote his fighters, and put on the best fights in the gosh darn world. So it really had a lot to do with Scott Coker and all that he's done and able to do.
Your campaign was also mentioned. You've been very active on the company's YouTube and promoting things in that manner. Was that something that you pitched, or was that something that they came to you and brought?
A lot of it is just my ideas, just me being silly and squirrely. I like to always be doing something. And so, I just throw ideas out there, and a lot of them are stupid, and a lot of them you'll never hear about. But this one actually wasn't my idea entirely. But sometimes I talking and brainstorming, and something awesome comes up. So I cannot claim
credit for this one.
And for Liam, you were around before Scott Coker was around. How would you compare the two regimes?
Completely different. The way Scott runs it to the way the other dude did is completely different. Scott's very he interacts with the fighters a lot more. He's very personable. You can go up and speak to him if you've got any problems. You know, he's always welcoming. And the other guy, well, I didn't even see him. You know, it was, if I went to go speak to him, I was like talking to two different people. You know, so with Scott, I feel comfortable around Scott. He's a good dude.
Thank you, guys.
Our next question comes from the line of Theo Goodman.
Hi, the first question is for Liam. How's your training camp been going? And given Phil Davis's high-level wrestling, have you been working on your takedown defense? I know a lot of times in the past you just kind of roll with the takedown. How's your training camp?
Training camp has gone really well. I've been able to do a lot of things which I haven't been able to do before. I've been wrestling a lot, jiu-jitsu a lot, smoking a lot. I'm just ready for a good fight.
Nice. How about your weight? How's your weight cut going?
Please mute your phone when you're not asking a question.
Yeah, there's some mad echo on this one.
Go ahead.
What was the question?
How's your weight cut been going?
What weight cut? There's never any weight cut. My weight is fine. I like to fight comfortable weight. I like to eat my full meals afterwards. I don't need to worry about a weight cut. What I do is I go training. I enjoy myself with training, and then I'm ready to go.
Okay, thanks. Phil Davis, how about your training camp? How's it been going?
My training camp's been going great. I can't complain. Everything's been going right according to plan. Everything's clicking and popping, and just ready to get in there and scrap.
Our next question comes from the line of Chimay.
Yeah, hi guys. Question for Phil Davis. You've got a couple of wins over some really big names. Do you think your experience in big fights will give you an edge in this fight? Hello?
Who's that for?
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry. Did you get that?
Was that to me?
Yeah. Question for Phil Davis.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you heard that. Do you need me to repeat it?
No, I got it. You were asking me about my experience in big fights. I was assuming since Liam was a champion, I thought maybe he would want to speak up, but figures he knows you were talking to me. But
no.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I started off saying that you had a couple of big name wins, therefore.
Left and right and on big stages and big fights. Yeah, this will be. Yeah, he's tough and he's going to put up the best fight of his life, and still going to come out with the W.
Sure, thank you. Quick question for Scott Coker, if I may. You're going to Israel for a show next month. There were a couple of talks about Bellator possibly looking at India. Is India on Bellator's radar by any chance?
I tell you, it's definitely a possibility. I know that Viacom has a big presence in India, and they have a couple of networks there as well. But right now, we're going to focus on getting these international dates done this year, and then we'll probably have something to announce next year. But India is definitely on the radar because like I said, because of Viacom's strength and networks there in India.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. That's star and the number 1. Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco with USA Today.
Got another one for you, Scott. Just saw this story about another one of your fighters, Brennan Ward, apparently rescuing a baby who'd been abandoned by a drunk man in New London. Kind of wanted to get your reaction to that. What you think it says about him as a fighter and as a person?
Yeah, I mean, Brendan is a guy that has a big heart, very passionate guy, and he proved it. The other day when cars were swerving inside, cars were swerving around the baby carriage, and he actually ran in front of traffic to see if there was somebody or a baby in there, and then he pulled the baby aside. The cops came, and they eventually took the child away. But he saved a situation that could have been a really bad story instead of a great story for Brendan. So I got to give him a shout out, and that's a amazing story, and we're proud of him.
What's at stake for his fight with Saad coming up? Is there a title shot possibly on the line with that one?
Well, we have a lot of high hopes for Brendan, and we're gonna try to keep him as busy as we can. He's got this fight, but he's got to win too. And he had a tough fight with Cyborg in the last show there at the Mohegan Sun, and let's see what happens. But if he can rebound, get the win here, we'll probably keep him busy. Fight him in the next 2 or 3 months, and really see what he's got. But at the end of the day, he's got to do the work on his side too, and really earn that shot moving forward.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Our next question comes from the line of Jordy McElroy.
So this one's for Phil. Bellator, they've done such a great job of promoting you with the Vote 2016 ads, and now you're fighting for a world title. And what has it been like for you going from being a perennial contender to having more of the spotlight focused solely on you?
Man, I really enjoyed the journey of going, of climbing up to where I am now, and I'm going to enjoy even more taking the belt, bringing it home to San Diego, and then defending it for a while. So it's just been all in all, it's just been a great experience, and so I'm really thankful to be where I am.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from the line of Ryan Gerbasi.
Hi, this question's for Scott. You had said that before that you were looking for the right fight if you guys were going to come to New York. What would that fight be? Would it be a championship fight, one of your big name guys? And are you only looking at Barclays Center at this point, or are there other venues in the works?
Actually, well, let's address the venue. I mean, we are talking to both venues in New York, in the city there, and I think we'll probably go to the city first. As far as bringing the right fight, I mean, it's New York. We gotta come strong. So there's some great talent on the roster. I think timing's going to be an issue of when these guys are available. But I really don't have anything to announce as far as timing or who's going to fight. Other than I think you've seen some of the big mega fight cards that we put together, and we're going to do the same and even bigger from New York, because that's New York's been waiting 15, 20 years for an MMA show, and there'll be a lot of MMA now that is legal, but Viacom is based out of New York City, and we're going to do it right. I mean, all those executives in 1515 Broadway from Viacom are going to come to the show, and it's going to be a great showcase for all the properties, and it'll be a big planting the flag in the ground for Viacom there in New York City.
Sure. And this is for Liam. Having spent a good amount of time in Brooklyn now, how excited would you be to get on that first card?
That'd be massive. I'm well excited. It's a shame we couldn't get it done beforehand, but it's right around the corner from where I live. It's a really nice venue. I've been there a few times, and it'd be good to put on a good MMA fight night for all the Brooklyn fans.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. That's star and the number 1. Our next question comes from the line of Bob Carson.
Hi, thank you. This question is for Scott Coker. Scott, you've spoken about in the past your thoughts on WME's acquisition of the UFC and what it might mean for Bellator, but I just had a couple of specific questions relating to the changing MMA landscape. Until the sale, I think the common narrative amongst fans and analysts alike was that Bellator, under your leadership, was promoting more of an entertainment-oriented product with fights like Shamrock Gracie and Kimbo and Dada 5000 and so on and so forth. My question is, what if WME goes the entertainment route wholeheartedly with the UFC? Could that leave MMA in a state where we have the two largest promotions competing for entertainment value in sort of a recognition-based promotional arms race while the sport languishes at a high level?
I'll tell you, I don't think that's a fair assessment of Bellator, actually. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the fun fights we put on, the legend fights, but all along we put on fights, like the fights with King Mo and Phil and Liam and all his title fights, or his fights getting to the championship. Look at all the fights at Pitbull Weichel fight, Strauss versus Pitbull. I mean, we've had some amazing hardcore fight fans, fights that they would enjoy. And so when you say that, we're just an entertainment property, I think that if you look at the show, yeah, it's an entertaining event. We have the screens, we have all the accolades. I mean, all the, hoopla of let's say, walking down the ramp and the pyro and just making a big spectacle. But as far as, having the Legends fights, I mean, I would say probably 5% of our fights have been fights like that. And so I think that's my personal opinion. And then, commenting on what WME is going to do, I really don't know what they're going to do. But I think that we'll always have the integrity of the sport as well as some legend fights that, will be fun to watch, like the Tito fight with Chael. I mean, that's a fight that I can't wait to sit and watch that fight. But look at the fight here next weekend with Liam. Look at the Chandler fight. I mean, look at the Shlemenko fight that just happened. I mean, we have something for everybody, and I think that, we'll do some fun fights once in a while. And but I would say, 90% of our fights are going to be the hardcore fights that the fans want to see.
Yeah, there's been some talk about the future of the UFC under the ownership of WME. Do you have any concerns at all that they may try to return to their previous home of Spike TV, which I think most people believe was a better fit for the UFC product, but would usurp Bellator's position there, or would that be contractually impossible?
Well, I would say this. I mean, if you think about, Bellator, it's owned by Spike TV and owned by Viacom, so now they own the product. They're going to invest in it and build it and promote it because they're the ownership. And when you're an owner of something, you're gonna get behind it, and that's really what Spike TV has done. I think that Spike TV and Kevin Kay specifically has not received the credit that he deserves because when in 2005 or 6, when he greenlit having MMA on his network, there was no other network that was willing to do it. And he was the one that said, all right, I'll give it a shot. If he would have said no, this sport could have died, 10 years ago or 12 years ago. And so, I think that he's got to be given his due respect that, that Spike TV gave it the shot. And think about this. They're good at promotions. When I stepped into this company, the people that were working in PR, the people that were working in production, the people that are working behind the scenes during all the 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the time that there was Zuffa are still there. Most of them are still there, so they know MMA. They know how to promote MMA. They know how to do PR with MMA. They know how to they're very good at what they do. So I think that you got to give Spike TV some credit, and you got to give Kevin Kay specifically a lot of respect, because this sport could have died if he didn't greenlight that show.
Our last question comes from the line of Eric Tamiso.
Thank you. First question, I have two quick questions. First one's for Phil. I just want to get your thoughts on a fellow Penn State national champion, Ed Ruth, making his debut, and what relationship, if any, you've had with him since he's ventured into MMA.
I don't like him. I'll tell you what. He's more handsome than I am. The guy goes to my alma mater. He's from my hometown. He destroys every single record I've ever had. Pins, wins, Big Ten championships, national championships. I mean, my parade through my city as the best wrestler of all time was so short-lived. And now this man is back in the MMA, and he's going to make a huge splash and become a massive star and champion in his own right. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That's what I think about him. I don't know what to do. Everywhere I go, he goes and he does it even better. So I don't know what to do.
All right, my last question is for both Phil and Liam. Liam, you first. You guys have had some little bit of back and forth here, as well as somebody mentioned a moment you guys had backstage a few months back. I'd just like to have you both characterize your relationship with each other leading into the fight next week.
This is me, is it? Talking's over. I've done all the talking I need to do. I'm watching all these silly little videos that he puts up thinking, how's he got time to do these videos? He should be in the gym training. You know, I'm done. I've done all the talking I needed to do. You know, we had a laugh and a joke around back then. That was back when he was fighting. And now it's time to get serious. Now it's time to get on this. I've got a belt to defend, and I will be defending it. I'm not going to let that squeaky voice weirdo going to take it off me.
What, was that directed toward me, squeaky voice? Unbelievable.
I think so, mate. You're the only one with that high-pitched voice. How high can you get that voice, by the way?
Unbelievable.
You do all them Michael Jackson songs, you know? Singing a lot of the Bee Gees.
Well, I used to like Liam. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Out of all the guys I fought, I'm going to like punching him in the face the least. He's actually a pretty funny guy. But business is business, and I'm going to have to come at this man like a spider monkey. And he's right. He will defend that belt, but he will be unsuccessful. So, that being said, I will be the new champion. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be friends after that. I'm sure at some point.
Definitely, this is just business. And my business is to break your nose.
Well, then you bad at your business, because it's not going to happen.
We'll see, man. What, you've been spending 3 years working on your hands now, yeah? You learn how to throw a nice one, too.
All right. You're not the first one to make promises you can't deliver on. You got anything else? You got anything else?
You don't see my record. It's 11-no reason. If I say I'm going to knock him out, I knock him out. If I say I'm going to submit him, I submit him. You? I just want to beat his fucking face in.
So are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do? I'm
definitely sure, mate. I haven't had a fight for a year. You're in trouble, man. And I'm healthy.
You haven't had a fight for a year, and you think you can just jump off the bench fresh. Wrong. The world don't work like that. Listen, I've been beating people up while I've been waiting to beat up you. Okay? Your picture is on a bag in my gym, and I just beat the picture off the bag. Okay? For the second time.
Are you one of those ones? Oh, man, you do that kind of thing. You're a sad little man.
Oh, I am a sad little man. I cry every night. I said, man, I wanted to beat Liam up after September 19th last year after I secured my place as the #1 contender. And didn't I go home and cry? Why? Liam is running scared for his life. He's running scared. You know what? Then King Mo had to get beat up. You know what? That's not even on him. That's on you. That's on you. You weren't ready.
Look, man.
He got beat up.
King, shit. He fucking whooped your ass. You had 3 minutes in the last round, which was the only decent thing in that fight. The rest of it was fucking falling asleep. Just like all your other fights, mate. Really. All your other fights. Man, I turned them shits over.
I hope you get caught up on your sleep, because I will help you.
I'll fucking have your jaw wide up straight after this fight, mate.
Well, good. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it's going to happen. Trust me.
All right.
I cannot wait.
None of us can wait. And so that'll take place next Friday at the Mohegan Sun, live and free on Spike at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's call, and we'll see you at the fights.